bullet killer. Even me lyrics smoke under me pillar. Last year me sick, but this year me killer. Nike me we are with not me L bigger. Bad master GSC send me no rock if the ADD. Why that spell daddy? If I did the one they say.
Hi you lovelies, welcome to Just Chewing the Fat with me, Rhea Bow, and my compadre. Some call him the Zen Buff Cowboy, some call him a retard, mainly me, but I call him the rock and roll redneck that is Mike Phillip. How you doing, retard?
I'm going to Disneyland. Doing good, Rhea.
Oh, that's excellent.
You know what? I definitely am the lesser intellectual in this equation, so I'm very privileged to be hanging out with you, Rhea.
Aren't you kind? Yeah, sorry about the lag. Epicus, Anon, and Jack. Hiya, Jack. Just roll with it, guys. Hopefully Mike can shut a few things down at his end. What have we got for you today? Right, I've got an infection, chest infection, so I'm not on full form, so be nice, right? We've got Captain Gay Socks is in the news again. We've got what's the latest on the border. We've got Maryland shooting. We've got the Coleman FBI report that less people are talking about. We've got a Trump hit piece that went out in the UK. We've got an EU migrant summit that's taken place at the moment. We've got Julian Assange chatter. We've got a new EU immigration law. We've got MSM news and a bunch of shout outs. But until then, Mike, do you want to kick one off or shall I start one off?
Oh, let's let you start.
Okay.
I'm still thinking about Disneyland.
Right, okay, so hi Jack, hi Colson, hi Ed. Who else have we got? Happy CD weekend. Right, so we're just gonna kick one off, right? Gay Socks and the trade thing. Is Gay Socks gonna let this trade just become a problem and it doesn't need to be for the name of Quebec, Mike? What's going on with that?
This is the stupidest thing. This is the most stupid, ham-fisted, retarded thing I've ever seen the so-called quote-unquote leaders of this country ever do, picking a fight with a country that's responsible for over 75% of our GDP. It's like a puppy picking it with a lion. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, literally. Chrystia Freeland is coming out with a list of products that we're going to slap tariffs on coming from the U.S. in order to punish them for their insolence. And, oh, Trevor Ellis. Morning, you loud cowboy bastard. Good morning, Rhea. Hello, Trevor. Hello, NJ Grant. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And it's crazy. If you head over to AmericanHawkRadio.com, I posted a story myself that Canada's now going to slap tariffs on Chinese steel due to their unethical trade practices, which Trump said. And this has been a sticking point for a year, okay? For a whole year. And we could have avoided the tariffs in the first place if the Canadian government had done something to protect our own steel workers and our own infrastructure. You remember I was talking about the U.S. Claiming that Canadian steel is a security threat to the United States of America. Brian Lilley wrote a very good piece about Chinese steel. Now, let me give you a little bit of background here, okay? A couple of years ago, Edmonton was building a bridge, and the steel girts they were using, they folded while they were building it. Just folded in half. Screwed everything up. Why? Chinese steel. Now, that same Chinese steel that they were dumping in this country was rebranded as a product of Canada and going into the U.S., being used in their military hardware so that any other country they went to war with could fire through their tanks like tissue paper.
Mike,
Good morning, Captain Cringe.
let me just interrupt you. You need to turn your
Yeah.
mic. You need to turn your microphone down, Mike, because it's too hot.
How's that?
Yeah, let's try that. Try again.
All right, we sound checked, but when we sound checked, I was very calm, but I started getting heated, so that changed the situation for everybody watching. So, I mean, listen, okay, so I was talking about this with the guys that I'm training at my brother's business, and one of them said, "Listen, I worked at a pipe plant several years back, and they got a load of Chinese steel pipe. Now, the pipe going out of the plant, guys had to take a grinder and get rid of imperfections on the pipe in the steel. He said that usually that took about 30 minutes out of your day, okay? Just getting rid of burrs and things like that. He said that when this load of Chinese steel pipe came through, they spent an entire shift going over one length of pipe, getting rid of imperfections, and when they were done, there was so much taken out of the pipe that it was not usable anymore. So the Canadian government picks this fight with the U.S., like cutting off your own nose to spite your face, right? When this Chinese steel coming in and dumping in this country was hurting our own steel workers and affecting our infrastructure. How stupid do you got to be? I mean, get real. I can't believe these guys.
Gay socks.
They are
stupid.
so dumb.
That's what you get. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That's what you get when you have a sort of, when you pick an administration not on competence, isn't it? I guess, what can you say, Mike? I find it unbelievable. And what's more, he's taking days off work, isn't he, old Gay Socks, because it's all a bit too much.
Yeah, personal day. I need a personal day.
Oh, please. Right, Mike, you got any more to add on it? We've got loads. Let's see if I can get some comments here. Thank you, Jack, for your words of wisdom. If you got a new name, Jack, then put it in again because I missed it. Chinese still sucks. Females have built bridges. I call him Sissy Socks. That's quite polite for you, Jack. I've got to say.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
is.
You've not been hanging out with the English, have you? You watch that, darling. I'll have to keep... Oh, don't worry. I'll let you know if you sort of start veering too much that way. Anything to add on it, Mike, before we move to another one?
Epicus and Arm says you guys got to get it through your head. It's not dumb if it's intentional. It is intentional. You're right. You are correct. But that doesn't make it not stupid. That makes it stupider. This intentional destroying of a country and its economy. Not to mention the fact that these people are operating unlawfully in the first place. The Canadian government should not exist in its present form. Canada never truly confederated. Never did. Never happened. Okay? The Charter of Rights and Freedoms, the Constitution Act, those are all pieces of crap to convince you that this is actually a country. No, Canada's 10 countries. Okay? The provinces have power over the federal government. Carlson Penning says it's not dumb. You could say it's ignorant, though, willfully acting stupid about it. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're not teaching me anything I don't know here, saying it's not stupid if it's intentional. But I disagree. It's intentionally stupid. And these people, kind of like leaving your phone on when you're in a live broadcast.
Retard.
Whatever. My broadcast instructor back in school would have been wanting to kick me right in the balls about now. But anyways, we didn't have cell phones back then. It's just, you know, the beautiful thing about this is that President Trump has shown a 10% raise in approval from Hispanics. Okay? It is over for the Democratic Party. It is over for the globalists. It is over. The only thing they can do now is burn everything down. Okay? No, that's intentionally stupid as well. And that's all that they have left. Sorry, literally. That's all they have left. assassinate the president, start a civil war, cause unrest. That's what's happening.
Just like malicious stuff going on. I think pretty much. Hi Gary, is there anybody I've missed? I don't think so. I've kind of got everybody. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's just like this UN, World Bank, IMF kind of deal, you know, that's going on. So you're right. I think we all agree like there's some malicious stuff going on. But I can't get rid of the sense of looking at him and thinking, God, how do you manage to consistently be an idiot? You're not a good enough actor. Although you would have made a drama teacher, you're just not a good enough actor to persistently come across as that dense, if you know what I mean. I love Jack's comment. It's mentally challenged, Ria. Thanks, Jack. Okay, so do you want to pick a story, Mike, or shall we grab another one?
Yeah, I want to talk about these gay-straight alliances in the school system in Alberta here where I live.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Now, I'm an American. I live in Western Canada. I live in Alberta. I want Alberta to become the 51st state or an independent republic. In the letter to René Lévesque from Walter Cool, backbencher in Jasper, he said, you can't have a divorce where there was never a marriage. Go and listen to my episode of American Rock Radio with Doug Force if you want more information on how the country of Canada never properly confederated and isn't a country. I'm not going to get into that too much. But, okay, we've got these GSAs in the school, gay-straight alliance, right? So that gay kids and straight kids can get together and form alliances, relationships, strengthen, go against bullying, all these things that on the surface seem like a good thing. Now, there is a court case over this because they made it law that teachers at the schools are not allowed to tell the parents if their kids are involved in one of these clubs, this gay-straight alliance. Like, I don't care if these kids are gay, but here's my problem with it, okay? The way that it's set up, they've made it so that when these GSAs have their little meetings, they do it behind a locked door, okay? Nobody can go in or out without permission of whoever's in charge. And the teachers are legally bound to not say anything to the parents of these kids if they're involved in this GSA. Now, first of all, if you were a teacher who is a pedophile, what room in the school with the locked door would you want to be in? Let me ask you that. And our teachers, because they're teachers, they're just a moral authority. They don't have the regular afflictions and vices that plague other people. Bullshit. How many times have in the past, just month alone, do you see a headline about a teacher that's sleeping with a 16-year-old student? Right? Happens all the time. Probably happening right now, somewhere. My second question. Who owns your kids? Does the state own your kids? Do your kids have ownership over their own selves? Are they qualified to make decisions over their own body and future? Do they have the experience in life to know about venereal diseases? Do they have the outlook to know about the consequences of these actions? No, they don't. And if the teachers aren't allowed to tell the parents that their kids are doing that at school, well, what else can they do? Can they lock the doors and you can't come in and they can't leave? Well, they already do that. It's called a school lockdown. We've seen cases in the past where too many Van Halen fans sleeping with teacher. I got it bad, so bad. I'm half teacher. That used to be one of my favorite songs to drum and sing when I used to play in bars. I used to love doing that song. Anyways, but think about it, okay? Supreme Court comes in and says that teachers and kids have more authority over your children than you do. Do they even have that authority? No, they don't. They're wildly exceeding their parameters, but that's the world that we live in. And so that's my original contention. You have a gay-straight alliance. You've got a locked room in a school with a bunch of gay kids that are mixed up and taught that, your gender is fluid. You can be whatever you want. You can be a purple penguin. You can be this. You can be that. Well, where would a pedophile teacher want to be? And who owns your kids? Now, I'm telling you right now, if you've got kids in the public school system, get them out now. Not even now, yesterday. Okay? And I can't believe that this is happening in Alberta. We were the Texas of Canada. This is the most right-wing, redneck, conservative place in Canada. We're
Yay!
more right-wing conservative than most states. Okay? Definitely more than New York and California and Illinois. How did this happen, you ask? Well, it was a punishment vote because the conservatives that were running the province for 43 years straight, they started getting entitled. They started raiding the piggy bank. People were angry, so they held their notices and voted for a bunch of communists. Now they're pissed off at what this government is doing, and you tacitly gave them your consent by voting for them, jackass. And now they're going to go running straight back to the people, the very people that pissed them off so bad that they voted for a bunch of pinko commies. And that's kind of the situation. Rhea, is this the first you've heard of this whole gay-straight alliance thing with our schools here? And what are your thoughts on it based on what I've just said? And then we'll take some comments.
Oh, man. How did they get the gig of looking after the place? It's so tragic. It's beyond words. I want to say hi to Andrea. Gary Kemper says, Marxists say kids are not your own. Say hello to NJ Grant. Hello, Canadian Arctic Radio. Hi, Jane. Night and day when why. Not really sure what that means. Yeah, what can you say? I mean, they have... I think if we followed it, it will go back to Agenda 2021 and 2030. They're just going to tip the whole thing upside down. I mean, what was her name? Shepherd, the girl Shepherd that had that run-in in the Laurier University.
Yeah.
That only comes to light.
Yeah, I don't remember her full name, but I know what you're talking about.
It's Lindsay Shepherd, I think. And what would have happened with that if she hadn't recorded it? Do you know what I mean? None of it would have come out. That it's just an awful state of affairs that these turds have found their way. They sort of go through the school system, become these kind of whatever they are, and I don't really mind what they are. You do what you want, but to change common law and social constructs is just like, what is that about? It's like being a parent and letting your kids run the show. It's like, that's negligence as far as I'm concerned. So that's where I stand with it. I think we're all on the same page with it, right? So it's like, it's the hierarchy system is not based on competence, and it's based on malicious intent. I think it feels to us. So poor Lindsay was sort of centre, wasn't she? And all she did was play the Jordan Peterson video, and she basically got socially lynched for it. And now she's got a sort of alt-right boyfriend, and she's hanging out with the rest of us. So that's backfired on them. So I'm in with Mike. Is go the alternative route. I certainly wouldn't let the kids go to a standard university and just get brainwashed. And if they've got a deal going on sexuality wise, that's fine. But like, you don't have to change the world around you, really.
Well, what if it's not fine? What if it's not fine? I mean, I'm not saying, okay, don't get me wrong here. What I'm saying is that, in my opinion, okay, and this is backed up by Dr. Glidden and a whole lot of studies that have been done, people that are born gay, and yet there are some people make a choice later on, whether it's because they're bombarded with
maybe
propaganda that they're supposed to be. They're weak-minded, or they just like to party. You know what I mean? What a nice warm hole will do no matter what it's on.
Oh, don't. Oh my
but
God.
There are people. Okay, but there are people that, due to nutritional deficiencies in the mother, in utero, there's a part of their brain that will misdevelop, and they'll end up chasing boys or girls, right? And that's clinically proven, by the way. Okay, but I mean, think about it. When a baby is forming inside of you, if you're a woman, or see how convoluted it gets.
You walked right into that one, didn't you? You went in head
if
first.
A baby is, yeah, look, if a baby's forming inside of a woman, what's it being built out of? It's being built out of minerals. First and foremost, if you cremate a body, those ashes that are left over are the unburned minerals, okay? Or a tree, or whatever, right? So that's why it helps your garden, right? If you put grandma's ashes in the garden, it will help it grow better. But if the mother is suffering from nutritional deficiencies, the baby isn't going to form right. So that's not their fault, okay? And I love one of the comments here. Andrea Nicole says, no one I've met other than a few very religious evangelicals care about other people's sexuality. We simply don't care. But we care when it's pumped into every aspect of our life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, okay, so what did Pride, the whole gay pride thing, what did that start out as? Back in the days of Harvey Milk and whatnot. Sean Penn did a movie about it. What was it about? It wasn't about
Sausage Fest.
Pride. It was about equal rights. It was about the rights of gays to walk around and not get beat up, right? It was about equal employment opportunities where you couldn't get fired on the basis of your sexuality. Well, they have that, okay? It always was illegal to assault somebody for any reason, whether it was because they had $5 in their wallet, whether it was because they said something to you, whether it was because they were gay. William Carrington and Wainwright, right up there at the Army base. Welcome to the show. Good to see you, buddy. But listen, they have all that, okay? Some would argue that they have more equal rights, okay? Some animals are more equal than others, right? From Animal Farm, George Orwell. I mean, you can't legally say that a guy that identifies as a woman is a guy in Canada. You go to jail for that and get fines. So one would argue that they actually have more rights than straight people do. Straight white males specifically, okay? So here's the thing. Now it's turned into, I have the right to give somebody a blowjob in public, or thrust your Speedo-clad midsection at a bunch of kids on the street in a parade. It's turned into something disgusting that no rationally sane thinking person could think is good for a society. And why are y'all sitting around thinking about your junk all day anyways, and where you want to put it? Obsess much? I mean, sex is a big part of life. A big part of your body is devoted to procreation, but that tendency has been weaponized against us. And every society that falls, this is part of it. This over hypersexualization, and they're going after your kids, and they said they would do it. Rhea.
Yeah, I'm just catching great comments coming in. Great, thanks for the input, guys. I know people are passionate about this. A lot of it is just being pushed so hard, isn't it? And I think if we wind the clock back to Barry and Michael, I think a lot of it was you had the sort of main. It goes back. Well, it goes back to that divide, doesn't it? You got all the people watching the mainstream thing that don't do the internet so much, and that's all going in there, CNN, MSNBC, la 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 la. Then there's another split group that are way more informed. I think they call us autodidacts, self-learning, And then you got another lot of information going in, and with it, it's just creating this huge division. The greater the division, the more people look to government to nanny the situation and regulate, and we all think they're malicious anyway. So the whole thing is going in a terrible spiral, and this is just one of those many things that are shoved down our throat. I'm probably not too bad with it. I've got to mention an art installment while we're on the topic, so I didn't know we were going there, in LA called Pornhub. You've got to check it out. You'll probably find it online somewhere, where some artist, don't know the name, I didn't prep for this, has done this installation, and it's like a digital world based on sexuality and the hierarchy of sexuality. And it's like an art installation in LA. Where else would it be, right? Santa Monica. But check that out. And this is just all going in the kids' heads. And when I saw it, I thought, you can't go in there with the kids. Oh my God, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? You're just going to bend them out of shape as the virtual world comes towards us. So I've kind of missed a load of comments here. I saw yours, Jack, saying, I remind you of your grade 8 teacher. Grade 8 what? In music? That's the only grade 8. I've got a grade 8 in music. Right, Mike, over to you. Any other comments on that before we move on? Because we're about halfway through.
Yeah, Carlson Penning. X and Y chromosomes. Yeah, I mean, listen, we were talking about this on American Hawk Radio, and Professor Mike made a good point. He said, look, it doesn't matter what you think. God and a blood test will tell you if you are a man or a woman. And I mean, look, they want to bring in all these Islamic people that are Muslims. They don't put up with that. They don't put up with that in their countries. This is a bad mix. And I mean, look, here's how I see it. It is the clay shaking its fist at the potter, saying, "Why hast thou made me so?" It's a hatred for what you are. It's a hatred for your creator. And I'll tell you what else. It's a great thing to be a man. It's awesome. I love being strong. I like going to my brother's shop and training these guys and molding them and turning them into somebody that's strong enough to do the job. That makes me feel good. I like walking home, walking in my house at the end of the day, and I don't even ask my wife. I just grab her and throw her over my shoulder off to the bedroom. That's how it's going, baby. You know what? She loves it too. Being a man is a gift from God. Embrace it. Bring it back. It's a beautiful thing. And listen, I'm not saying I'm the toughest guy in the world. I'm not. I know lots of guys that I wouldn't want to get into it with, and if I did, I'd be looking to knock them out as fast as I possibly could. But what I'm saying is embrace being a man. Same thing with being a woman. Why do you think we love them so much, right? Why do you think that that men want women? Because we love what you are, okay? God made you something beautiful, something that's supposed to be protected and attractive and feminine. Why would you want to be a guy, ladies? We're like dirty monkeys. We're not beautiful. Well, some are. I mean, maybe our prime minister's a pretty little. Anyways,
yeah, the ripped ones are quite nice.
Right? Yeah. Get yourself some fake eyebrows and pretty socks. But listen, love being what you are. There's nothing better than being satisfied with your life. And these people that want to be something else, they're fighting against God. They're fighting against nature. They're fighting against what they are. And if you're doing that, you will never, ever, 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 ever be satisfied. You're going to have to run from one thing to the next, always looking to fill that hole, so to speak. But
don't.
Love what you are. What the hell's wrong with that? Don't let the government and the education system teach you that you're supposed to be unsatisfied with reality. And think, would you?
Oh, that's it. It's finished. You caught me by surprise there. Just think, would you? I just thought I'd finish that for you. Hi, Hugh. Thank you for coming in the chat. Hopefully I've said hello to everybody. Great chat input, guys. what can you say? We're all on the same page. They just need to dial it down to 11. We all know that there's some like bad things going on in the universities where it's like this destructive cycle going around that's pushing this agenda. And Hugh's commented relating the topic that's close to our hearts as well. It says gay rights and Muslim intolerance equals liberal train wreck. I can't wait to see it, says Hugh. So there's loads of good stuff in there. Right, Mike, any more ranting going on? Gary's put a laugh in my arse off. And I want to say hello to Night and Day. I miss Night and Day as well. There's some others in the chat as well. NJ Grant is in your channel, I think, Mike.
I love how you say ass. I'm laughing my arse off.
Well, I can't. My two words that I've been working on are jeepers and retard. And
jeepers, retard.
Jeepers, what a retard. Is obviously I can't do it like you guys. And I used it at a dinner party, and I got told off by my friend saying you're hanging around with that American too much. So I'm just working on it. Do you know what I mean? They're new words.
And you looked at her and you said, "Jeepers, you're a retard."
So anyway, yeah, who cares? Anyway, so what else have we got? I love the way she says no. No, I don't know. I can't say. What other city can't I say? Oh, Ontario. I can't say that properly either.
I want to kill everybody that says robot instead of robot.
What about people that say intranet instead of internet?
That sounds like a George Bush Jr. thing.
Loads of people say intranet instead of internet. It's like...
I had a cousin that used to say banana instead of banana bread, and I wanted to tear his head off every time he did it. It made me so angry. Like, he would say, "Your mom made some banana bread." And I'd say, "It's banana." He'd say, "That's what I said, banana." It drove me nuts. Anyways.
I suppose it will. And Ed says that I've got to learn to say what? By y'all. By y'all. By y'all. Is that correct? By y'all? I probably just sound like jeepers. I just probably sound like a retard.
So do your friends watch this show?
No, God, no. What my sort of executive friends, as it were? No. They don't even know I do it.
Oh, okay.
No, they don't.
Not very proud of hanging out with me is what you're telling me.
No, not at all. They wouldn't get you. You don't understand, darling. It's the British are kind of weird, and in our way, and you're weird in your way, and they sort of don't mix. They often don't mix unless you're speaking to somebody that's travelled a bit and they're used to people that sound different and those kind of things. But on the whole, they don't mix, you know. They really don't mix because they just don't understand, you know. It's that kind of thing, you know. They're really different cultures, Mike, as you well know. Interweb, good PK, goodbye all, y'all. Oh, goodbye, bye y'all. Is that okay, Ed? Bye y'all. Doesn't sound
bye,
right.
y'all.
That sounds right. That's how it should be.
Zach says, LOL, intranet, internal, internet, www.
Y'all.
I think you're record skipping.
Y'all.
George W. used to pronounce nuclear really quite strange. Peyton Smith. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. That George W. Bush was the best. I mean, if you go look at clips of stuff he said, you know, I believe that women, that people and fish can get along. Things like that. Millions of OBGYNs are unable to practice their love with women. He was the best. I mean, he was terrible, right? The Bush is terrible, absolutely terrible. But at least he was entertaining. Obama was worse as far as terrible goes, but he wasn't entertaining. He was just a useless doofus. Too much time with his pet Wookiee Michael.
That's my new one for the week. Useless doofus.
Useless doofus.
Really
there you
digging that
go.
one. Andrea says it's ostentatious to brag about your accomplishments if you're a Brit. Isn't it the same if you're an American then, or a Canadian? Doesn't it just come across as sort of obtuse? I thought. Dunno, y'all. Right, so we've gone off track, right? So we need to get to stories. Mike, any more? So we all agree, right, that we're sort of oppressed by a manipulating, scheming, malicious state that has major changes in mind to enslave us with a change in morals and values that the old school don't accept, can see through it, but the youngsters can't, creating more divide, which people look to the state to fix the problem, and in turns we don't become our own people and we're just owned by the state and we're sort of this far away from being chipped. Is that about the size of it, Mike?
Yes. I guess you could condense it down that way. I mean, look, here's the thing. There's a passage in the book of Isaiah, and I don't want to hear your crap about I don't believe anything the Vatican put out. Okay, I'm a Bible believing Christian. All right, Jesus is God to me. All right, there's a passage in the book of Isaiah where it talks about the fall of society, and one of the things that it mentions in there is that women and children will rule over you. That's the mark of a seriously messed up society. Okay, that's when you're going to lose your liberty. That's when the music dies. Andrea Nicole says American exceptionalism. Fuck yeah. LOL. Yeah, America is exceptional. The idea of America is exceptional. Now, an American is not an American because they're born on that patch of dirt. And you're looking at me, you're saying, what?
Say what?
Jerry Brown, governor of California, is not an American. All right? It's the idea.
He's horrible.
1776 worldwide, baby. And I'm occupying Western Canada to bring that about. I kind of went off track, but I really like that.
Oh, man, Jerry Brown, someone's got to... Bob, what do you think we ought to do to Jerry Brown?
Illegally shoot the son of a...
That's what I thought. I've heard it before, but I'll roll with it. Do you know what I mean? Because Jerry Brown is... Oh, yeah, man. When I was on the station in New York, I was covering it then, and there was a lot of libertards and all that, so it didn't go down very well. But he's just like, what is that dude about? He's in the pocket of the globalists without doubt. Do you know what I mean? It's just forcing people to have vaccines. It's like... Oh. Right, okay, so we've had a bit of a rant. We've come off target. The one, Epicus Anon says we're still looking up ostentatious. See, we don't have that kind of humour. I think that's great, but we don't have that. My favourite sense of humour is The Life of Brian, which is quite different, isn't it? Monty Python.
Those guys were geniuses.
Oh,
Those
man.
guys were geniuses.
Totally.
By the way, hey, just to switch topics for just a second, a little deviation here. Did everybody see that video that Cap and Cringe put out where he's hanging out in his garage, smoking and listening to music?
Yeah.
You know what? I watched that, Cringe. You look exactly like the people I hang out with. So, like, if I ever make it out your way, let's hang out and drink and smoke in your garage, okay? I'm in.
Well, it was a bit of a shock for me, Jack, because I thought you was a black dude. I was like, shut up. I don't know why I thought that. I just did, do you know what I mean? It's like, I was miles off.
Maybe because of Michael Arana.
I don't know why. It's just like, oh, right, it's a white dude and all that kind of stuff. Do we like our new headlines at the bottom of the screen? Do we like that? I'm digging that. A bit more useful than the other one at the moment. Oh, right. Have you seen?
He's kind of a black dude, he says.
You get that.
Yeah, that's exactly what one of my buddies would have said, too.
Don't the libertards, the students, are we just not happy about this? If you're not happy about, if you're a student or a lib, just write to Mike, write to American at Radio and put your complaint in there, okay?
Yeah, go to AmericanActRadio.com and hit the contact button. I will respond. I've been accused. I've got to start keeping these emails. I always delete them, but I think I need to start posting them on the website. I've been accused of being a Vatican agent, covering for the Jews, secretly covering and promoting the Muslim Brotherhood agenda. I'm a British agent. I'm a seer of Alex Jones. Used to be Steven Crowder. We used to be on right after Roger Stone when he had Stone Cold Truth. Now he's full-time InfoWars. But oh yeah, man, I tell you, you name it, I'm covering for something or an agent for somebody. However, I have not gotten one single Jew check or check from the Muslims for doing their bidding, and I'm going to have to clamp down on how much I support these terrible earth overthrowing agencies if I don't see some Charlies real soon here. So, anyways, that's whatever. There you go.
Well, he run that one dry. That buffering was my end. I saw the stream health take a turn, but it's come back. Yeah, we've all been... God, yeah, I mean, when I was doing the Tommy Robinson stuff, oh, man, slating my skin. Seems that Tommy Robinson run that I did of about, a month? You need thick skin, right? My skin's about an inch thicker than it was. People just cutting me down, do you know what I mean? There's like, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care, man, I tell you.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and people are saying Tommy Robinson is a government agent. So, like, that doesn't even make sense. Okay, so MI6 that has been covering up for pedophile rape gangs, whether it's Muslims or British politicians or Pakistanis, they've been covering these guys up the whole time, and now all of a sudden they're running this op with an agent that, has the moniker Tommy Robinson to blow the lid off the whole thing and cause riots in the streets. The hell are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. Look, everything is not a conspiracy, okay? Sometimes things just happen. Oh, by the way, switching gears, you saw this shooting in Annapolis at that newspaper?
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely saw it. I wanted to grab one there. What was that? I just wanted to say hello to 1917 Thunder. Yeah, the Maryland shooting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go on then. Take that one.
It's Trump's fault.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, CNN run it, didn't they?
It's Trump's fault. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's all Trump's fault. So they ran a story about this guy back in 2011 because he was stalking a woman on Facebook. Mike from Alberta, Royal Canadian Air Force. I hate that show. Anyways, they ran a story about this guy because he was stalking some woman on Facebook. He tried to sue the paper for defamation, lost the court case. Remember, we're going back to 2011 here, okay? Then he gets a shotgun, walks into the place in June of 2018, shoots the place again, shoots the place up. Trump's fault. PK 33501 says more buffering. Say it again, Mike. Say what again? I don't know when we were buffering. What?
That's it.
Yeah, I know it's Ed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not our end, Ed. That's your end.
By the way, I tried to get a hold of Little Gray Cells again to hook you up with his buddy, and he's not answering his phone. But that happens every once in a while, so no problem.
Yeah, we had a long chat about the Canadian banking system. He was just feeling things out because he did a bit of that, didn't he? He sort of goes to ground or something. I don't know. He's got his own style of doing things and stuff like that. Andrea says CNN coverage of this shooting was shameful like the rest of their bullshit journalism. I just saw how American. So I want to cover another hit piece right on Trump in the UK because we're not getting through the news I've got. Excuse me. So, is it Madeleine Albright or Marilyn Albright? It's Madeleine Albright, isn't it? She's flogging a book. They've got her on the mainstream radio station. There's about 60-something million in England. And on this afternoon show, 10, 12 million tune in. And it was a full-on, another hit piece on Trump. Just no holds barred going... Because you know where he made the quote about the gang members and the MS-13 and all that kind of stuff to keep the gang members out, and then the mainstream twisted it into he was saying that was just regular people, he was saying it was just like they run it on English radio, Mike, and no one could write in, you couldn't call in, you couldn't do anything to challenge it, and this woman was just left to run off at the mouth.
Yeah.
It was just a tragic state of affairs. Hi, Phoebes. It was a tragic
kind of
state
like when they disable the comments section on a story because they know that the reaction will be negative.
It's just how much coverage this show has, and how much they let this woman run off at the mouth. She's trying to flog a book.
Yeah, I mean, look, so these governments in the UK, in Canada, Australia, they're all globalists, okay? Justin Trudeau said, we are the first post-national nation. Well, then this trade war comes up, and all of a sudden they're rallying around the flag because nationalism and protectionism is suddenly now good. Because why? Because we're against Trump. Right? So they'll switch on a dime. They're such a bunch of lying hypocrites.
It's just tragic to have such a blatant lie. That's not what President Trump said. The animals were the gang members, these tattooed badasses, you know. And he wasn't on about regular people, and they've completely twisted it. So what? They've completely twisted it and just let it run. It was a proper BBC hit piece. No two ways about it. I was marching down. I'm gonna call my friend Mike, and I'm gonna get him to call in or something, or do something about this, because it was so tragic. Right, we need to roll this on. We've got 12 minutes countdown. I've still got a load of news. Mike, you got any other stories? Let's keep this rolling. You got any other stories?
Go ahead.
Okay, let's take another one. Here we go. Did anybody check out Greg Hunter and see the Coleman FBI report? Right? Because I've got to whiz through this. This was going to be longer, but I'll whiz through this. There was a report done by Coleman, an FBI report. They found a file on Wiener's laptop marked insurance.
Wiener.
Am I saying that wrong? Or something else?
Wiener.
That's a hot dog, isn't it? Don't know, maybe not. And that's what you call hot dogs, right? Wieners, isn't it?
Yeah. Unless you're in certain states, they've got these bright red hot dogs or wieners, and we used to call them Indian dicks. But anyways.
But don't people call dudes parts wieners as well?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like iffy stuff going on there, isn't it? So anyway, moving on.
Well, Anthony Weiner is very aptly named. That's all I have to say.
Right, okay, yeah, no, I believe that. So they found a document. Coleman didn't hand this document over. It turns out he can't quite remember. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What?
It was Joel Davis. Let me show you people the document. Let's just go to my desktop. I'll bring this up for you. Sorry about the busy thingamajiggy here. Let me just bring this up. Come on up. Right, hopefully
you're going to have to describe it to me because I can't have my YouTube channel open, so I won't be able to see it. But I want you actually can you throw it in the chat so I can look at it on my desktop?
It's no big deal. I'm just showing the origins of the official document that I'm quoting from. And it's the United States of America v. Joel Davis, defendant. Right, and in this document, it's just so damning. You wouldn't believe your ears. So you've got to check out this week's Greg Hunter, right? And he worked on the Clinton campaign. You listen to what Greg reads out about these charges or accusations within this official document about the pictures that they found. And right, I'll paraphrase. It's sort of accurate. This is ugly, guys. About an adult laying there with their legs apart while a child is between their legs and stuff like that. And that's all. There's loads of this in this document, but they kind of forgot to hand it over while she was running for El Presidente. It's sickening stuff. Check out Greg Hunter this week. And it starts on minute 16 of this week's Friday wrap-up. Minute 16, and you listen to what he said. It's absolutely nuts. What else have we got here?
Listen, I want to comment on that too.
Go for it.
The NYPD is is known to be a very corrupt organization. Okay. Now, when the revelations of this laptop that was seized by the NYPD from Anthony Weiner, who is the husband of Huma Abedin, and I think that was a show marriage.
Totally.
I firmly believe that Huma was servicing Hillary. That was her official job.
I agree.
But yeah, I think that's what was going on. But what was coming out at the time, and I remember this because a lot of the QAnons and people over on those posts were talking about it. It was said that even these corrupt detectives, I can't say that they all were, but they're known to be, right? And I don't hate cops. I don't. I hate corrupt cops, but I don't hate them all. But it was said that what they saw on that laptop was so bad that they were breaking down. And they actually, when the FBI came in and seized that laptop, there was almost a fist fight.
I believe that.
Oh, in the precinct, because they knew that it was going to be covered up. And I guess, if these guys were crooked, they found their line. They found the line that they could not cross. And it's just like, there used to be some honor among thieves, right? You remember Scarface? I don't do women, I don't do no kids, right? He was supposed to follow that car and blow it up with that guy at the UN in it, right? And so he ended up shooting his handler because he wouldn't blow up the car because there was women and children in it. Okay? That tells you that the Clinton crime syndicate is so unbelievably dirty that even these cops, they could not. No, this can't be covered up. And this is while she's running. And Comey and McCabe covered it up. They seized it. And listen, James Comey, his whole career has been made around protecting the Clintons. Why do you think he was where he was? Why do you think he was FBI director? I love the way Trump fired him, by the way. Comey didn't know he was fired. He was giving a lecture, and there was a TV at the back of the room, and it came up on the news. Comey fired. And he's like, what? He had a Justin Trudeau moment.
Let me chuck something in there. You know when Comey, they were running for, so you had the Trump start and Hillary running, right? It was all going along, and then Comey came out and said, we're reopening the investigation, which the Dems say that's how they lost that's why they lost the vote. That's what they're saying. Not the fact that they're not in touch with people and they want open borders and all that stuff. Nothing to do with that. It was to do with Comey relaunching the investigation. So question, Mike, and you lot out there, did they threaten Comey or something? Do you think something happened to Comey within the Clinton cabal for him to do that?
No, I don't think he was threatened. I think that he's lived under threat for since Arkansas, since Bill was the governor of Arkansas.
Wow.
And it's not so much. Look. Here's okay. Let me put it to you real simple. Okay, in the mob, in order to become a made man, you have to commit a murder. Okay. Because everybody sitting at that table can't sit at the table unless they have an equal amount of dirt on each other.
Yeah, right.
Because that binds them together, because if one goes down, they all go down. And it's the same thing with Comey. He has to be so thoroughly compromised that he absolutely has to fail forward with everything that he does. Okay? He's owned. Okay? He does not own his own life. James Comey is a slave. He's not a free man. He has to act at the behest of Hillary Clinton. He has to. Otherwise, he'll end up at the bottom of the Potomac, or he'll commit suicide in Fort Marcy Park by shooting himself in the back of the head twice. That's Comey.
So, all right. So, do you know what? I'm feeling a bit thick, but that didn't really answer my question unless something must have happened to Comey for him to publicly announce that they were reopening the investigation. So that's where I am with it. We've got some comments in. So, you know, you guys often want to write Muslim in the chat or whatever. Just change the name to the Borg. Because on what Phoebe just said, my point is that they came here, worked hard to earn and become a citizen, not coming illegally. So when you have people coming into a country that want to embrace your culture, want to get Canadian, want to get American, want to get English, whatever, that's a really different story from people that want to come and take your culture away. That's like the Borg in Star Trek, isn't it? So that's a really different thing that nobody's really talking about. Well, they are talking about it, but they get censored down. So that's just, they're like the Borg to me. Anyway, moving on. We're on a couple of minutes of countdown. 3 minutes we've got. I want to cover a quick one about the EU Migrant Summit today. So the European leaders have got together, sort of bureaucratic style, to try and bring oneness to the immigration problem in Europe. I mean, go and read the Marrakesh Agreement. Like, they're all talking out their doofuses, do you know what I mean? But, having said that, Italy has come out today with a new interior minister saying, we're taking no more NGO ships this summer. That's it. The doors are closed. So Italy's put their cards on the table. And now the NGOs and the charities that fund them, George Soros, have got to rethink their tactic, because these like dinghy things leave the Libyan coast and the NGOs are ready to get them at a certain point and bring them in, which is what Soros is paying for and the like. But all of a sudden that's not going to cut it. So it's quite interesting. The migration thing is moving on, sort of, but we'll have to see how it goes. So Italy shuts the door today. Unless you got a comment on that, Mike, I'll go to another one because we're nearly done here. There's talk about the US are going to make a new arrest of Julian Assange. There's talk just going on saying, look, he's a prisoner. His health is apparently really bad, which is blooming awful because HRC might be sitting in the seat now if it wasn't for him. And the US are going to make a new launch into that. I had a quick one on the mainstream. They released mainstream media ratings figures and they've all dropped as well. And of course our beloved CNN and MSNBC have gone down, particularly CNN. But MSNBC are just as bad, aren't they, if not worse? So Mike, we're coming in for finals, darling. Do you want to take some finals?
Yeah, NJ Grant has posed a question to me. Is Canada still with the UK? Or is it its own country? Okay, let me answer it this way. The Statute of Westminster was enacted in 1931 and released all former colonies and dominions. Okay, that's 1931. No, Canada is not under British rule. Nobody is. Nobody. It's all a big act. It's all a big farce. When the Queen gives royal assent to our Parliament, that's literally a farce. It's not. It's all color of law. It's the appearance of something that's legal. It's not. It's not even real. And nothing drives me crazier than seeing a bunch of Canadians, and especially Americans, fawning over anything royal. I'm looking forward to my NuckRadio.ria. I'm done. Close out the show. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you all.
If you can hear me, thank you for joining us. There's virtually no stream at all. Oh, here we go. Thank you for joining us. I want to do some special shout outs to Lauren Southern. Has got a South African document and it often does on the hour, which is really bizarre. So thank you for joining us. American at Radio, GCN Live, 2 till 4 Central, 8 p.m. GMT. Come listen to Mike and Professor Mike and Super Don and myself. Just cut to the chase on whatever's going on in the news. Guys, great comments. I love y'all. Does that work? I don't think it works like that. I'll work on it. Do you know what I mean? Jeepers, what a retard. And we're going to be live.
I took the words right out of my mouth.
Right, I deserved it fully. And KH and Zephyr and So What and anybody I've missed.